season of my life. No, in your way, my way. Ain't giving up on my kind of way. Innovate, doing it all alone. This time I show you all my theorem. The clock is ticking and flipping and shaking and breaking, but damn, I'm living. I ain't a smoker, ain't a drink, a dream, doper, ain't a baker, ain't a carnival, just a human. Welcome on show, I'm also as BC, but I'm also as Mr. Earphones, and welcome back to my channel. So I just finished watching Christopher and I'm here to give my review on it. Let's get started, okay? The story is about this officer who has zero tolerance towards violence against women, okay? And he goes about encountering them. Okay, now when I'm talking about violence, I'm not talking about domestic violence or something small like that. Not saying that this is right, everything is wrong, but still in this movie they've dealt with gory violences like brutal rapes and, you know, burning off the girl just because she said a no to a guy and stuff like that. Okay, so these are the kind of, you know, violences they've shown in this particular film, and this officer, as I said, has no tolerance. Okay, so this is the story. Now coming to the positives of the film, for me, 2.5 hours I felt engaged in the film. Okay, so that to me was the first positive. I felt the screenplay kept me personally very engaged in this film. There were moments where there were non-linear narrations happening, there were certain twists, there were certain surprise elements, and all these things were happening, and for me completely those 2.5 hours I felt hooked to the film. So screenplay to me was the first positive. Okay, now if you ask me, did I see anything new in the screenplay? Because see, police officers going about criminals and, you know, killing them, we've seen in a lot of films. So I'm not talking about the core of the film, I'm talking about how it was delivered. Okay, so that way I'm telling you, screenplay was the first positive to me. Second positive to me was definitely, you know, the cinematography. I loved certain visuals. Incorporating M.O.U was definitely one thing that I really loved. M.O.U is this camera which was used in this movie called Vikram, also in this interval block, you know, where the camera kind of goes zoop 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 and stuff, right? That was used here as well. I could spot it, and the way M.O.U had handled it, my god, I mean, nobody's gonna believe if you people are gonna tell him he's 70 plus. I loved his style, I loved his swag, loved the way he was handling the Mokobot sequence. Okay, see, Mamuka obvious plus, so do I even have to mention that separately? Okay, so that's why I'm not mentioning him as this positive separately. He's an obvious plus. He's the single-handed carrier of this particular film. Okay, in spite of such a big star casting, this man carries it single-handedly. I'll talk about that later. Okay, so yeah, Mamuka's an obvious plus, but cinematography definitely a big plus. Okay, and edits also, the way I was having questions in the beginning and the way I got all the answers at the end, the back and forth, you know, confusing but still giving away the answers at the end, you know, that kind of an editing kind of appealed to me a lot. So I definitely felt editing also was a plus to me. Okay, so that's the third plus. And fourth positive to me was definitely the music. Okay, Christo Funk, I read that yesterday, link in the description below, please to check it out, is what I would say. I absolutely loved it. Whenever Momoka was like going about on his own style and swag, you know, this music playing behind it was like great, lovely. Okay, and the other places where the sad BGMs were playing, and those places where the BGMs were playing, you know, over those gory scenes and stuff, you know, whatever had to be felt was being felt. Okay, so yeah, the music was a definite plus to me. But now let me tell you this. Okay, whenever I talk about, or whenever I review films, I talk about positives and negatives, but here in this film there's this mid zone that I have, and I have like 2 or 3, you know, sequences in my mind as well, which will cater to whether I don't know if it's a positive or a negative kind. Okay, see, first thing is, as much as I talk about or talk high about the music, I felt this particular BGM named Christo Funk was kind of repeating in the entire film. Okay, which I felt maybe, you know, another BGM, or probably this BGM itself tweaked a little, could have, you know, not made the audience feel like it was repeating a lot. Okay, because see, Mamuka, whenever he was playing cool, this music was playing behind it. Okay, and in this movie he plays cool in a lot of places, so basically this particular music was repeating, so that kind of made it a little, you know, I don't know if it's a positive or negative kind of thing for me. Okay, so that's one thing. Secondly, the star casting is huge, very huge. I'm talking about Sharat Kumar sir, Sneha ma'am, Amla Paul ma'am, Vinay sir, Shine Tom Chaku sir, many people. I'm just telling names which I can recall right now. Okay, So all are huge as actors. Now, if you ask me if they were fed enough to satisfy their hunger as actors, I would say no. Because they had very minimal roles to play. Okay, it was Mamuka, the single man army, and probably on the other side Vinay sir playing, the next stronger role, and then Amala Paul ma'am to an extent. Okay, but all the big guns were given very small roles, so they were starved in terms of them as actors. But were they fed enough in terms of satisfying their role inside the story? If you ask me, I will say yes, because though their roles were very small, what was needed for this film was there. So in that way, definitely it was satisfactory for me. So this is the confusion I'm having. So I'm like, 50-50 again. Okay, so these are the two things what I personally felt. Now coming to the negatives of the film, I don't know if it's exactly a negative, but for me, yeah, maybe I felt this could have been reduced a little. I mean, I understand for a fact that they're trying to show what are the gory violences happening against women, but portraying that, like, showing it on camera again and again and again in different sequences was something that I felt could have been reduced. I mean, like, come on, when you say rape or when you show rape, 1 or 2 is fine, but 3 to 4 to 5, and like, it was kind of disturbing. It was definitely disturbing for me. So I felt maybe though that could have been reduced a little. Maybe they could have had scenes where it was just spoken about and not actually shown. Okay, so that was a little negative to me. One. Second negative to me, what I felt was, they portrayed Amla Paul ma'am as the super efficient police officer. So now, what I don't understand is, how can such an efficient police officer be so blind to someone as corrupt as a Shine Tom Chaco sir in her own team? Okay, in spite of Mamuka telling it, still I don't know for whatever reason she holds on to this team. That logic I didn't understand. So that particular thing also was a little negative to me. So overall, if you ask me what kind of a film is Christopher, I would tell you this: the story is something you would have seen many times, because this is how a cop story can be taken. Okay, the bad guy, violence against women, and the police officer comes and then kills the bad guy. Happy ending, mass ending, super. The police officer is the hero. So this is something that we would have seen a lot. But in terms of how it was delivered, my personal opinion would be I absolutely loved it. And if given a chance, would I watch it again in the theaters? I would say yes, I would go to the theaters. Now the decision to watch it or not is yours. I leave it to you. But this is my review on Christopher, is what I would say. And in this video, thank you so much for watching. I will catch you people very soon in another video. Do not forget to. Thank you so much for watching. Nadu, I'm signing off. Take care and peace.